Hello, everyone on YouTube and Instagram. I'm waiting for my Instagram to pick up, but I'm on YouTube at The Body Scientist 81, and I'm waiting for my Instagram to get its connection. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at the_body_scientist. Hold on, I'm having an issue with Instagram. Let's try this one more time. Maybe Instagram won't work today. So I apologize for the delay for those of you on YouTube, but it should give people a little bit of time to get to the video, and hopefully Instagram will decide to work. Okay, so the show must go on since Instagram doesn't want to start. Hold on, wait, let me try one thing. 1 minute, one moment, people, I'm sorry. Okay, let's try this one more time. Okay, Instagram is now working. Great, so I am live on Instagram at the_body_scientist and on YouTube at The Body Scientist 81. Make sure you follow me in both places. My name is Makeda Valletta, also known as The Body Scientist. And for those of you who follow my work, you know that I speak about and study a lot of things dealing with the body, proper functioning of the body. And today I'm going to spend time speaking about women's womb health and issues, specifically about what a woman's menstrual cycle can tell her about herself. And if you are a man, you may think that there's nothing for you to learn from this conversation. But if you have a woman in your life, if you have a daughter, if you have a wife, if you have a mother, you can learn something from this and maybe even teach and help the women around you, okay? It's good to know about both sexes. And, even as healthcare practitioners, a lot of the research that's done in medicine, that's done in sports science, all of that is done on men. And they apply everything to women as if we're just little versions of men. And this is something, this is probably also a lot of what has driven my inspiration to want to train female athletes. I have a twin brother. I'm close to my twin brother. I'm close to my dad. I think men are great. But there's a lot that's left out when it comes to women. And a lot of times men don't notice it, that this world is very male-centric, okay? And so the thing about the menstrual cycle, a lot of women think it's normal to have like horrible cramps and to be in so much pain. I remember growing up and hearing women, girls talk about how, they were in so much pain they couldn't go to work, they couldn't go to school. And I thought that was horrible. I grew up playing sports. I played basketball, I played softball, I danced. And I never remember it bothering me. I never felt any kind of way. I thought that girls were exaggerating who complained. And, as I've grown older, of course, I've met tons of women who've had horrible cycles or bad fibroids, especially Afro-American women. And my own mom, she had horrible fibroids and got a hysterectomy back when I was in high school. So the thing is that there's a woman who I studied with in Long Beach, California, named Pakazani, also known as Indija Mama. And I talk about her all the time. I have previous videos where I speak about the importance of womb massage, sobalas, and the uterus being perfectly centered. But Western medicine ignores the importance of a woman's uterus being perfectly centered. If a woman's uterus is not perfectly centered in the right place, it can cause a lot of physical issues, okay? Physical and physiological issues in that woman's body, but it also affects her mind, okay? It also can affect her mind. So, in her spirit, okay? So this is also why, like after childbirth even, You know, I've seen a lot of couples, you know, be good and be together for 10 years, and then they have a baby and they break up in less than a year. You know, you see this a lot. There's multiple reasons why that could be, and I'll, you know, want to do another video on that another time. But one of them could be the fact that after birth, you know, childbirth can make a woman's uterus go out of place. So can other things such as a bad fall, trauma, abdominal surgery, but definitely childbirth. And whether it's vaginal or whether it is a C-section. A lot of times when women get C-sections, the organs are just thrown back. They just throw the organs back any kind of way. And our internal organs in both men and women need to be in the right place, but it's especially important in women because we have uteruses that can shift around. And this is not ever considered in fitness or anything, right? But Pakistani, one thing I learned from her, and she's Mexican, indigenous, and she teaches a lot about Mesoamerican medicine, which is something that I have learned so much from and I believe in. You know, you have traditional Chinese medicine, which is great, but I feel like I am not in China and I'm not Chinese. And there are indigenous people here on this land who also had sacred knowledge in that way. And there's a lot of similarities. I'm sorry, I'm looking at what somebody wrote. There are a lot of similarities between traditional Chinese medicine and Mesoamerican medicine, a lot. Even when it comes down to working with the eggs that you all have been hearing me speak about for the past 12 years. The nani eggs, also known as yoni eggs. You know, the Taoists highly revered jade and obsidian, and so do the Mayans, okay? So there's a lot of similarities between traditional Chinese medicine and Mesoamerican medicine. My teacher, who was amazing, you know, she's worked on me several times. I've assisted her in Sabada several times. Like, she's somebody that I will always be studying with. And I highly recommend in terms of an herbalist, in terms of a birth worker, a woman who knows women's bodies, a womb chiropractor. She's somebody you definitely have to follow, Pakistani. Also, Indigimama. You can find her on YouTube, Instagram, her website. I will put it below on my YouTube page. But from her, you know, I've learned, she said that it's not, you know, Western medicine says it doesn't matter if a woman's uterus is tilted to the left or tilted to the right or tilted back, but it does matter. Because if a woman's uterus is not perfectly centered and is leaning to the left, then it's putting stress in her intestines. Or it's leaning, you know, it's starting to prolapse and it's dropping, and now it's pulling down the other internal organs, the lungs, or it's affecting the bladder. So these things do matter, and they have effects on other aspects of our health. And so when a woman's uterus is not perfectly centered, let's say it's leaning over to the right or leaning over to the left or whatever, then it has to work much harder on our menstrual cycle, because our uterus is a huge muscle. So women who have horrible cramps, you know, during the menstrual cycle, that's not something that's so-called normal. You know, it's becoming more common, but it's not necessarily normal. Okay. Our uteruses do expand, so you feel some bloating, stuff like that. But to feel excruciating pain where you can't get out of bed, you have to take these painkillers. When women have blood clots like that, or spotting in the beginning, if it starts to spot in the beginning instead of just coming on easily and consistently, when it starts to spot and it's darker blood, and then you're getting clots, that's a sign of old blood. That's a sign that during your last cycle, everything didn't come out. So you have old blood, and so that's what that's a sign of. And a lot of people will tell you, oh, it's an issue with circulation to the uterus. Yes, that's a part of it. But why would there be issue with circulation to your uterus? Probably because it's not in the right place. It's leaning over this way, it's leaning back that way. And then you have circulation issues, and the uterus has to work much, much harder in order to get that blood out. And so that's when that woman gets excruciating, horrible pain. Okay. There are a lot of women who say that they can feel themselves ovulate. One thing that Pakistani said, you should not feel that. Like, if you feel a pain, some women say they feel a pain or a pinch when they ovulate. Feeling something like that is an indication of inflammation in your ovaries, okay? So a woman should not feel like a little stabbing pain, or like, you know, you shouldn't feel ovulation pains. That's a sign of inflammation in the ovaries. And that's where, like, womb massage is super important, and ovarian massage and stuff like that. I was teaching my own versions of ovarian and womb massage, which was more energetic before I met Pankazani. And Pankazani, I've studied a more hands-on, deeper type of Sobhata womb massage. And I highly suggest taking her classes, but they probably will be offered less and less, but she's somebody I highly recommend studying with. And so for women, yes, there was a video that I did years ago about the menstrual cycle, the blood mysteries, just talking about menstrual cycles, pregnancy and childbirth and menopause, and that connection. I will do a different video on that at a different time. But just want to talk about, this video and the fact that, for women, your cycle, it should come on and leave. It should leave just as easily as it comes on. So there shouldn't be like spotting for a day and then your cycle comes. It should just starts to come. It comes on slowly, comes, and then goes just as slowly and as calmly as it came, lasting 4 to 7 days. If you're having a cycle that's like super long, super heavy, super agonizing, super painful, those are, signs that your uterus is probably not in the right place. And so you may need to do some work and some manipulation with that. Sometimes the uterus can also be in the wrong place because of scar tissue. So if you have had any abdominal surgery, which includes a C-section, but any other kind of abdominal surgery that causes scar tissue pulls things to it. So if you have scar tissue in the abdomen, it can pull your internal organs and your uterus out of place. So that's where, again, castor oil packs and womb massage becomes very important. And then in my work over the years of teaching my sensual strength training class, I've noticed that women who worked with eggs, a lot of times their menstrual cycles would get better. Like if they're really heavy and painful, a lot of times it would help. And that also could be because working with eggs helps to increase the circulation of blood to your pelvic area. The dancing. I always talk about the importance of Afro-diasporic dances that involve your hips, especially Congo-based dances that really activate the hips, because that in combination with egg work really helps increase the circulation of blood to our root, to our deep center, and getting our uterus moving. All of that is really important. So for the ladies who you feel like you're dying, or if you know women who seem to have like, this horrible attitude, they're like, this is when women go on our cycle. It's and I wasn't going to get too much into this in this video because this is more for my more metaphysical videos, but it is a time that we're close to spirit, and we are spiritually sensitive. So if you find that you're super like mad or angry, you also have to sit with yourself and look at why. Like, what is irritating you? Because there's a lot of things that irritate women during the month that we can kind of brush it over and brush it off and, laugh through it. But then when that time of the month comes, you can't, because that's when you're more real and you're more. So you need to look at what's toxic around you. It could be your diet. It could be people, situations. And sometimes the situations you can't easily get rid of, like it could be a work situation, right? But you have to spend time with self and identify that and take time to nourish yourself and eat foods that are high in iron, like red meat, liver, egg yolks, things that are high in iron, and, be gentle with yourself. But definitely pay attention to how that is. In our cycles, a woman's normal cycle should be 28 to 30 days. If you're having, some women are getting their cycle twice in a month, or, you're going 6-7 weeks, then you have some hormonal imbalances, and it's really important to address those things, So yeah, all of those, but you definitely don't want to have clotting and dark blood and spotting and horrible pain. None of those things are normal, and they're telling you that, you have some womb care to take care of, okay? Definitely check out my other videos on the topic on the importance of Sobhata. So I have another one on the importance of like the perfectly centered uterus, and how to prevent and kind of heal pelvic prolapse. So I have videos on that. Be sure to check that out on my YouTube page. Be sure to check out Pankazania and Digimama. And I hope you learned something from this. If you did, please share the video, write any comments you want below, and have a good day. Bye.